Hey there, art stars. Today we are drawing Spongebob Squarepants. There's a new movie out if you're watching this in December of 2025. And we're going to do our version of SpongeBob as a swashbuckling pirate. So if you want to draw along, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and let's go to the drawing board. Shh. Okay, everybody, let's draw SpongeBob. Get your paper and pencil ready. Groovy. Okay. We're going to make him in 3D, which means you'll be able to see a little bit of his width and the depth of him. So we're going to get a little bit of his side in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start with those same basic shapes that make up everything. And I'm just going to draw a little bit of an angled line here. And we're going to draw, well, actually, a rectangle. And I'm going to come down slightly slanting outward on each side. Kind of see how it's leaning a little bit on an angle? Okay, good. Now we're going to come up from the top here and we're going to draw a line that kind of points down the other way, like that. And then I'm going to bring that line down to about here. And then I'm going to bring it back up to this line. So just like that. Okay. And now we're going to come across, connect those two lines so that now we have a rectangle. And remember, gang, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know I always like to recommend that you draw loose and light, even though I'm drawing a little darker so you can see it better on the video. If you draw it loose and light, you'll be able to erase any mistakes. Now, these are just guidelines, so we'll add in some more details as we go. But let's come down from this corner. This is the sponge of SpongeBob. And then we're going to come down from this bottom corner. I'm going to make a line that comes out like this. Okay, and we're going to come down from this line over here and do the same thing. And then we're going to come to that third line, and we're going to do it again, but we're going to bring the bottom down a little bit lower because we're going to come from the bottom back up to here. And then we're going to go all the way across this one. Okay, and then right here under the center of his sponge, I'm going to come out a little bit from this side, and I'm just going to add a little rectangle there. I'm going to jump over to here and add another little one in right there. Then I'm going to jump over to this side. You see what we're drawing? Yep, this will be SpongeBob's pirate shirt. Arrgh. I don't know why people always say arrgh when they talk about pirates, but they do. So, let's go in the middle here. Put an X. That's just where some stitching is in his shirt. And then on this side, we're going to draw two little circles, like buttons. Like it is. Now he's got this nice pirate shirt starting out. And then, right in the middle here, he's got a little, like, tie or a kerchief. So I'm just going to come kind of right in the middle and just come down a little bit like that on both sides. And we'll detail that in later. Okay. Let's do SpongeBob's face. So we're going to start, well, let's start right in the middle. So we're going to start in the middle, and I'm just going to make a little line very lightly that comes down through the center of his sponge. Okay? And then I'm going to come over from that line a little bit, and I'm going to, well, let's do it this way. Start in the middle, and we'll just shape out SpongeBob's eyeball. And don't be afraid to draw kind of big here, guys, because he's got those big eyes. So I'm going to draw one here. And then connected to it, right on the other side of the line, I'm going to draw another one on this side, trying to get them the same size as I can all the way around. And don't worry, if you make a mistake, you can always erase. And remember what I said, these are going to be guidelines. So we'll detail in everything with a black marker in a little bit, and we'll erase everything we don't want. It'll really look cool. And trust me, I am a professional. This is how we do it. Okay, let's draw his eyeballs. So the color part of his eye, I'm just going to come in a little bit here from the side. And I'm just going to sketch out an oval about yay big. And inside of that, I'm going to do another one, because this is going to be the black part of his eye, or the pupil. And I'm not going to come up all the way and connect them, but I am going to draw one more little circle in here, like this. That'll be a little highlight or a reflection. And then I'm going to draw one more little one right here. All right, then I'm going to come over to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. Just kind of roughen in that shape. And then we'll do his pupil and stop. And we'll put another highlight in, the same as we did on this side over here. I'll give him that little one too. All right, how's that look? Don't look like much yet, does it? But it will, hang in there. Okay, SpongeBob has his eyebrows, not really eyebrows, but they're part of his head that kind of give him an expression. So we're gonna give him what looks like a little check mark right here. And that's so you can see like he's got this, you know, the expression on his face. And then on this side, we're just gonna raise one up, and it's gonna come up a little bit above the line, like that. Okay, let's give him a nose. Let's come right down through the middle of this line, and right about here, just a little bit below the eyes, we're gonna shape in his nose, and it's kind of like almost a tube. It comes clear out here like this, and back down. Okay. Remember, guys, if you want to, also you can stop anytime, rewind, play it again. You can use the little scrubber and scroll back and forth so you can see it, and you can take your time with this drawing. Let's give SpongeBob his cheeks, his famous cheeks. So I'm going to start over here, a little bit outside the eyeball. And I'm just going to make almost an oval, but I'm not going to connect it. I'm just going to kind of stop right there. And I'm going to draw in 3 little freckles. Now I know this crosses over where the eyeball is. We'll erase that line later, but for now, we're just going to leave it as it is. And we're going to come over on this side and do the same thing. I'll start up here, out from the eyeball a little bit, and just come in and around like that. And then we'll give him his 3 little freckles. All right, now we have a place to start and stop his mouth. So I'm going to come back over here on this side, and kind of right in the middle here, I'm going to come down to the bottom, and I'm going to start his mouth. It's just going to come down and curve right back up. Got that? So down and curve it, come right back up. Now we're going to come back over here for his bottom lip, and his mouth is opened, as you can see in our little reference. So we want to come down this time and make it nice and deep, like the letter U, and then bring that all the way back up to the cheek again. Okay, his teeth kind of follow the middle line, so I'm going to start it right where that line is, and I'm going to just come down, over, back up like a square. They're more square than rectangle, I think, his teeth. And then I'm going to leave a little gap here, and I'm going to come on this side and come down and over and back up. Got that? All right. By the way, guys, if you're having fun with this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so we can draw stuff every week. All right, let's do his tongue. Let's come over on this side of his mouth, kind of right down below where the tooth is, and we're just going to make a hump like this, and then we're going to come off that line again and make another little hump, and that's his tongue. And then for his bottom lip here on at the bottom, it's going to cross over into his shirt a little bit. I'm just going to start here, like outside where the tongue line is, and we're just going to make a curve that follows the bottom of his mouth. Okay, easy peasy. All right, now let's give him his famous pirate hat, because the new movie, if you're watching this in 2025, search for Squarepants, SpongeBob gets into the pirate life, and he's got this cool pirate hat on. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna come right here from the middle of this eyebrow, and I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna shape out his pirate hat, and it comes up and over and a big hump, and then it comes back down, okay? Before I touch this line though, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna curve this up, and I'm gonna make a curved line like that, okay? And then I'm gonna come off the edge of this line, come down a little bit to where this line is, and I'll curve that back in, and that way you can see the side of his hat. That makes sense? Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing up here for his pirate hat. So I'm gonna come up here, I'm just gonna curve this line down a little bit, and then I'm gonna turn it in and come down like that. Okay, on this side, I'm gonna come up a little bit from the eyebrow. Okay, and I'm gonna curve this line up and make a big hump, and then curve it right back in. Now we have something that kind of looks like a pirate hat. If you want, you can take this line out right here because you don't need that anymore. All right, let's give him his little skull and crossbones guy in here. And all we're gonna do for that is I'm just gonna, let's come up a little bit from the bottom, about right here. And I'm just gonna put a line in straight across. And then I'm just gonna make a big hump, like that. Right in the middle, I'm gonna put the little nose where the nose hole is. And we'll give him 2 ovals for his eyes. And then for his mouth, I'm just gonna kind of go across a little bit crooked. You can be a crooked. And then I'm gonna put some like straight lines for his teeth. So 3 on this side, 1 on this side. And now we got kind of the skull part, and now we'll do the crossbones. So on this side, I'm just gonna come out from this line, up a little bit, hump it over and around, and back down to the skull. Come down to this one, go down a little bit, hump it over, hump it around, and back up to there. Same thing on this side. Hump it around, and hump it over, and back in. And then on the top, we'll come out a little bit, and we'll hump that over, and boom. We got the skull and crossbones matey. All right, how's yours looking so far? I bet it's looking pretty good. Let's do his arm with a sword. So he's holding out a sword here because he's a swashbuckler. So we're just gonna make one pretty long line. It comes out at an angle from SpongeBob's body, and then it comes down. We're gonna come inside here and make a little bit of a circle. That's gonna be his cuff. Then we're gonna come down for that and make a little U there. He's got a kind of a puffy sleeve shirt. And then right at the bottom of this, we're gonna come down and curve it in and then back to his body. Okay, for his hand, if you want, you could start with an oval right here where his hand is. And that just gives you a guideline for how big you want his fingers and his thumbs. And the first thing I would do is I would draw his thumb in, just come right about in here, and just make almost like you're making another oval. I just don't complete it all the way. And then we'll shape in his fingers like this. So we're just kind of curving off the top of those lines. And I'll curve off this one too. And then we'll draw in his wrist and the cuff. Okay, that looks kind of messy right now, but when I go over this with the ink part and eraser, you'll see how cool it's going to turn out. All right, let's put a sword in his hand. So he's got this kind of like bell shape here for his sword. So we're just going to come right off the middle of this first finger, and we're going to come out and make a hill. Just hump it over like that, and you're good. And we'll put a little, it's got this little like white highlight here. And that's just like the reflection coming off of the hilt. It's called the hilt. All right, for his sword, he looks like he's kind of swinging it back and forth, like he's sword fighting. So we're just going to take a line. We're going to come over here on this side of the hilt, and we're going to come up like this. And then we're just going to sweep it down like that. And we're going to sweep it back down again. And that just looks like he's like he's swishing his sword. And there's a couple little highlight lines in here that curve along that space. So I'm going to just really lightly put those in. Okay. Now let's do his other arm. So I'm going to come over to this little section that we drew earlier. And right in the middle, I'm just going to draw a little curved line like that. The bottom one I'm going to bring down just outside of his body. Don't go too far. About right there. And stop. And then at the top, I'm going to come out. I'm going to come farther and curve that right there for his elbow. Okay, see where this line is and this line is? You want that nice gap in there. And then from here, I'm just going to sketch this back in to where it comes back to the edge of his body. Okay. And then I'm going to come up here and right across where I left this line off, I'm going to come back in toward the body again and down. So now we're making his sleeve. A little swoop here for his cuff. And then we're going to come in and make another smaller one for his hand. And his hand again can be an oval, but this time I'm just going to shape it out. So I'm just going to hump it over like this for his thumb. And he's kind of got a, fist. His hand is kind of closed and it's laying on against his body there, his shirt. So I'm just going to do one curve, two curve. And this one comes back around to make his hand. All right, let me erase this little line in here because you'll get an idea now that when we start to erase the lines that we don't want to see anymore, it looks like the hand's in front of his body now, right? Okay, well, I think he's really looking pretty good. How's yours coming? Sometimes it's a good idea just to watch it through once and see how we do it, and then you can go back and do it and practice over and over again. All right, remember where we stopped with coming down to his body? We didn't do his pants yet. So where this line comes down a little bit farther off the bottom, we're just going to make a line that goes straight across. Well, that's kind of crooked, but I'll fix that. There we go. Like that. Keep this line down, and then I'm going to come down one more time like this one till this one kind of meets here so I can make that straight. Okay, that's going to be the front part of his pants. And then I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to bring a line down and in about yay far. And I'm going to come all the way across. Oops, I missed that line up. Okay, I'm going to come all the way across like this. I'm going to fix this line because it doesn't match. There we go. Okay. Now for his legs are kind of sticking out like this in the reference that we've got. So I'm going to come right back up here to the middle of this space. And I'm going to start at the line. I'm going to make a hump and bring it over and down like that. And come back in a little bit. This is a little more advanced cartoon than a lot of people are used to. Even though it looks simple, there's a lot to it. So take your time with this one, okay? All right, now I'm going to come back off this other leg on the top here, and I'm going to bring it down to the side, and it's curving back in. Then I'm going to come up right in the middle a little bit and start there, and I'm just going to make a little jaggedy part where his pants are torn. Pirates, they have torn pants. I'll do the same thing on this side, like that. And right where I bring that line down, we're going to put his leg. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now to do his shoe, we're going to make a straight line across here like this and then curve it down. Okay. And then we're going to come back like this to the edge of his leg for the back of his foot. And then it comes down kind of like this, and he's got a little heel. All right, let's come back over here to this part. And it comes down and over a little bit, and then it humps over like that. And then the bottom curves down and back up, and then kind of at an angle, and then back into here. That's a tricky shape, so you can always practice that one on a different piece of paper or something while you're, before you do it on your final masterpiece. But we're going to do the same thing with the other leg. So I'm going to start here at the line, curve it up, come over, and back in, come to this side, over, and in, and right in the middle. I'm just going to make a V because that shows how his pant leg is torn. Just kind of come down and make a jaggedy. Come down from the other side as well. All right, and then we'll make a line across there. And we'll bring it down for his foot, back up, down and around a little bit. And I'm going to come back over to this side and make the little tongue and the hump. And then this curves down, in, and out like that. Okay, you got it? Oh, put a little crease in here too for his tie. All right, that's your basic SpongeBob, guys. Now, to detail him up a little bit, make him a little more SpongeBobier, we're going to add some waves into our rectangles so he looks more like SpongeBob. So you can start anywhere you want. I'm just going to start right here by the eyebrow. And I'm just going to start curving and making those lines wavy using the edges of the rectangle that we drew right off the bat. He's even got a little bit down here, and it crosses under into his shirt a little bit. And this is up to you. You can go as close as you can to the reference in my drawing here, or you can just kind of style them in the way you want. Hey, it's your drawing. All right, let's curve these down, curve this here, come in here. All right, and don't forget to give him the sponge holes. So looking at the reference and seeing what we've got, you can go in and draw those sponge holes as close as you can to where they belong, or you can just kind of do your own thing with it and make all your little spongy holes. This is fun. I like drawing cartoons. How about you guys? Oh, you know what? If you want to have some ideas for something we could draw in the future, leave a comment down below and tell me some of your favorite cartoons, and we'll see if we can draw some of them. All right, there it is, guys. That looks like a mess. But I think you can tell that it's Mr. Spongebob Squarepants himself. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a black pen, and I have here my trusty Micron. This is a number 8, which means it has a fatter point when I take it off. And I'm going to trace all the lines that I want to keep for SpongeBob. I don't want to trace, you know, the little dividing lines and the sketchy parts that we drew, just the lines we want to keep. And then we're going to let that dry. And once the ink's dry, I'm going to take an eraser and erase all of the extra pencil lines so we have a nice, clean SpongeBob drawing. Okay, I am going to speed this up so that it's easier to watch, and I'll meet you on the other side. All right, here we go. Ta-da! Well, I cleaned them all up, erased all the extra pencil lines I didn't want, and now we have a really nice finished SpongeBob drawing. Okay, thank you guys for sticking around so long. This was a longer video than normal because he's a fairly complicated guy. But now, what do you want to do with him? You can sign him and leave him like that, just nice black and white. Or you can color him, watercolors, color pencil markers, whatever you like to use, crayons. I'm going to color mine with colored pencils, and I'll speed it up so you can see how I did mine. And then I'll show you the final reveal at the end. Are you ready? Get it? Are you ready? Like they say on SpongeBob? Yeah, never mind. Okay, let's color. And there it is, Art Stars, our finished SpongeBob Swashbuckler Squarepants. How did yours come out? What do you think of mine? Leave me a note in the comments below. Tell me what you think and what do you want to see for the next one. And until then, art lovers, God bless.